Dear learners, I welcome you all to the course Business Management. Today we are going to learn what are the contributions of F.W.Taylor. F.W.Taylor was an American who joined Midway Steelworks, which was at Philadelphia, USA, as a machinist, and he gradually rose to the position of the chief engineer through his hard work and his progress. And F.W.Taylor had conducted some experiments in three industrial firms or in three companies, namely Midway Steelworks, Bethlehem Steelworks, and Siemens Rolling Machine. So he has actually conducted three experiments to find out what is the thing that we can observe. So he had conducted some experiments, and he noticed that the industrial resources were not being fully utilized, and the business enterprises are being managed by the rule of thumb. And no systematic effort had ever been made to find the exact nature of the work to be done or the best way of doing it. So these are some of the observations, and in addition to this, there was no proper division of responsibilities between the management and the workers, and the management was mostly dependent for the successful performance of the work on the goodwill and the skill of the workers. And there was a kind of performance, a kind of observation was made by F.W.Taylor, and he has given a name for it, which is called as systematic soldering. So this systematic soldering is a kind of deliberate restriction of output by the workers. Okay, say for example, if myself, don't want to show my extra caliber, don't want to show my competencies, and I don't want to perform the best. So I'll have some kind of restrictions in my mind. So that is a kind of the term called systematic soldering, which is like a deliberate restriction of output. So that was actually observed by Taylor. And his thinking on management is the subject matter of the two books. Okay, so he whatever he observed, so he actually have developed into books called Shop Management and Principles of Scientific Management. So those two books were published in the years 1903 and 1911 respectively. And so here, after he published these books, Taylor's scientific management thoughts revolved over and became very popular in USA, and especially in the beginning of the 20th century. His thoughts got popular, and those concepts have become very popular in USA at that point of time. And we have to understand what is the meaning of scientific management given by F.W.Taylor. So F.W.Taylor's scientific management implies knowing exactly what is to be done and devising the best ways of doing it. Okay, so that is called as scientific management by F.W.Taylor, and this term was given by F.W.Taylor in 1911. And it suggests that work should be done according to the standardized techniques and tools and with the help of the specialized personnel. So he should know what he should do, and what are the different or the best methods that we can actually use to multiply our productivity. So here his main terms, under scientific management or F.W.Taylor's thoughts, he has given much importance to the improvisation or improving the quantity and quality of the product, and at the same time reducing cost. So that is scientific management. It improves both the effectiveness and efficiency of work. And this is actually called as scientific management, given by F.W.Taylor. And because of his contributions, he is actually known as the father of scientific management, and which also came to be known as Taylorism. So here Taylor, he believed that it was the role of the manufacturing plant managers. It was the role and responsibility of the manufacturing plant managers to determine what is the best way for the worker to do a job and to provide the proper tools and planning and training to the workers. So he has actually devised all sorts of things in a scientific manner, and he has proved that there is one best way. So that is actually called as scientific management by Taylor, and hence he is actually regarded as the father of scientific management. So let us now discuss what are the different principles of scientific management given by F.W.Taylor. So the first principle is science, not rule of thumb. Before Taylor developed the principles of management, as I already told, they followed a rule of thumb. So that was actually a concept which was used by all of the organizations. And before actually Taylor developed the principles of management, the rule of thumb was widely in use. And under the rule of thumb, each manager will be handling a situation or a problem based on his or her own understanding to that problem, and when it arose, they will use a trial and error method. So that was actually used by mainly all the organizations, and that is called as a rule of thumb. So instead of getting into rule of thumb, and like the F.W.Taylor, he has introduced scientific methods in order to avoid a very vague and inaccurate technique, because the rule of thumb is actually used trial and error method, and most of the processes, even though it is very easily applicable, but it will definitely give us a very vague and inaccurate output, because using trial and error method, each and every situation will be solved, and so this is what rule of thumb is. But Taylor actually fostered the scientific method, and he believed that for every work there is only one best method of doing it, and he wanted managers to take decisions on the basis of logic and science rather than the rule of thumb. So that is his first principle, science but not rule of thumb. And the next principle is harmony, not discord. So this is actually the second principle, and here, using the first principle, he proposed that various traditional methods used by managers should be studied, and the best method or solution among them should be adopted and followed by all the managers in the organization. With such scientific management, he was able to increase efficiency to a larger extent. So that is his first principle. And the second principle is harmony, not discord. Taylor emphasized that managers and workers should maintain a harmonious work environment. They should realize their interdependence, and they have to work as a family. So here, organizations, the people or the employees working in the organization should have a cordial relationships among the superiors and the workers, and the management and the workers, and they should be like a family. Only then we can able to improve our productivity. So that is his second principle, harmony, not discord. So he introduced this principle for the peaceful coexistence of the workers, and employees will help to improve the efficiency of work if they are functioning as a family. So if they are having a very proper interpersonal relationships with the employees, they can able to just improvise the efficiency in the work. And in all types of organization, there will always be a conflict of thoughts between workers and the management. And the workers generally feel that they are overburdened and underpaid, and whereas management also will feel that the workers are not focused and they are not showing their 100% efficiency on their work, and they are not working like effectively in the organizations. So here, to dismiss such a situation, Taylor has showcased a need to bring about a mental revolution, and it actually implied on bringing a change in the thinking and attitude of both the workers and the managers. So hence, this will help to build a friendly working environment which will develop a harmonious relations between them. So this is the power of harmony and not discord. So that is the second principle devised by or given by Frederick Taylor. And the third one is cooperation, not individualism. So this principle emphasizes on cooperation among managers and workers over individualism. So here the concept should be like we, not I. Okay, so we should come first. We should be given first priority, because most of the organizations, teamworks play a very important role, and everybody should work in teams, and we should actually develop a kind of we attitude and not the I attitude that I did this and I am responsible for all these things, and things like that. So here the cooperation matters a lot, and this principle actually emphasizes cooperation among workers and the managers, and over individualism. And it is closely related to the principle of harmony, not discord. And according to this principle, the workers and managers should work with mutual understanding and cooperation. So they should understand each other, and everything should be discussed among the employees, and the superiors should maintain a proper relationship with the workers, and the managers should take care of the workers and determine the plans after taking their suggestions. So rather they can also go for a kind of decentralized decision making process, where they can also involve the lower level employees into the decision making process. And the manager should take care of the workers, and this will definitely help the workers to work efficiently and achieve the goals. So this cooperation is very, very important, and the managers should also share the gains of the company with workers, awarding them with sufficient incentives to work. And he is a powerful believer of the workers should be rewarded properly, and so that is actually a definite motivation for the workers according to Frederick Taylor. And similarly, the workers should be willingly, they should work and they should give their best, and giving their best contribution to the company. And this will definitely build a mutual trust, because the managers, they are also showing a healthy relationship with the workers, and the workers will definitely understand what is the organization's expectations, and they may definitely develop a mutual trust, and a feeling of belongingness in both will be developed because of this cooperation, not individualism attitude. And the prosperity of any organization cannot exist without prosperity of the worker. So this should be understood by all the organizations, and they should maintain, and all the managers should take care of the workers, and they have to determine the plans after having the discussions with the workers. And this is a very important concept, which is cooperation, not individualism. And the next concept is development of workers to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. Any organization should focus on the development of its workers along with the company's growth. So here, the organization should not consider only the organization's growth, rather they should also give some importance to the workers' growth. So they should pave way for their career growth. The career path should be clearly defined to them. And so the development of workers to their greatest efficiency and prosperity matters a lot. So that is actually regarded as the fourth important principle. And this a kind of development of workers. So this is because the efficiency of the company is directly proportional to the efficiency of the workers. So if the company's efficiency is very good, then obviously we should admit that the workers working there should be efficient. And here the workers can be equipped with the required skills through various training programs conducted by the organizations. So here the organization should design what kind of training programs that are needed for enhancing the competencies of their employees, and thereby the organization should conduct some form of training programs to develop the competencies of the workers, and thereby efficiency of the workers can then be improved. And the efforts towards increasing efficiency should begin at the very first step. That is, while hiring the workers itself, there should be some efforts taken by all the organizations to increase the efficiency of the workers. And employees, they should be recruited in a scientific manner. So he has given each and every step a scientific management tools and techniques for right from the recruitment, the selection of the candidates, and giving them training, and also giving them some form of like development, career development, and all the things. So everything should be like in a systematic manner and in a scientific manner. And they should be assigned work according to their mental or physical abilities and qualities. And for increasing the efficiency, the workers should be given proper planning and proper training. So that is very, very important here. So this development of workers here refers to proper training that should be given to the employees, so that we can actually develop the efficiency among the workers. And maximum output in place of restricted output. So here maximum output and optimum utilization of workers or the resources will definitely bring higher profits for the employers, and also better wages for the workers. So, and hence maximum output and optimum utilization of resources should be followed in all the organizations. And Taylor, he believed that the management and workers should have a common interest in increasing productivity. From all these principles, there was another concept called mental revolution. So here the essence of scientific management, according to Taylor, is mental revolution. So he actually advocated a complete change in the outlook of both the workers and the management and the owners of the organization. Harmony, not discord, and cooperation, not individualism. They are actually seen as the outset of the mental revolution. So here management should create a form of like a congenial atmosphere for optimum efficiency of workers, and on the other hand, Workers should also not go on for strikes and waste the resources. So, according to him, the mental revolution has three aspects. One is all efforts for increased production. Second one is creation of the spirit of mutual trust and confidence. And the third aspect is inculcating and developing the scientific attitude towards problems. So far, we have seen F.W. Taylor's contribution to management. As a management thinker, what are his views on management and what are his discoveries and things like that. Now we are going to discuss about different techniques of scientific management. So here he has conducted several experiments and he actually had given us some important techniques that scientific management uses. So we'll now discuss what are the different techniques of scientific management. So these are some of the techniques that was used by F.W. Taylor. So the first one is work study techniques, and the second one is scientific task planning, and the third one is scientific selection, placement and recruitment and training of workers, and the next one is standardization and simplification, and the last one is mental revolution. So these are some of the techniques of scientific management. So we'll now discuss what are these techniques and what it means, and so what work study means here. So work study, it aims at improving the efficiency of the workers. So that is the purpose that he has conducted this kind of experiment. So here under scientific management, the movement or the amount of work an average worker can do under standard working conditions is objectively determined. So here under scientific management, we can able to determine the amount of work an average worker can do like under standard working conditions. So that is objectively determined here in his study. So this is actually referred to as the fair day's work. So this fair day's work includes certain studies. So in determining the fair day's work, he had conducted several experiments which includes time study, motion study, method study and fatigue study. So here the time study, the objective of conducting the time study is to determine the standard time. So that is the requirement here. So under scientific management, this is actually the first attempt to calculate what is the time that can be taken by the worker to complete the task very efficiently. So here by using this time study, the he can able to fix a standard time needed to perform every job, and for this various elements associated with the job are identified, and also the time taken to perform each such element is actually recorded. So that is called as the time study, or under work study, the time study involves calculating or fixing the standard time required to perform every job. And the next one is motion study. So here motion study is actually it is conducted to know the movements of the workers from one place to another during the working hours to perform their work. So here the idea is to identify and to eliminate the unnecessary movements and wasteful movements. So this is a kind of study which can eliminate unnecessary and wasteful movements so that we can minimize the time required to finish a task. So that is called as motion study. And the next one is method study. So here method study, it aims at improving or determining the most appropriate method of doing a particular job. So that is called as method study. So what is the method that we can adopt to complete a particular task? So this method study actually involves in determining what is the what is the method that we can adopt to complete the job in a within a particular or stipulated time and also efficiently. So here and after that is fatigue study. So here fatigue study determines the amount of physical and also as well as the mental exhaustion, because the workers will always be involved in the work and they'll be very much tired both physically and mentally. So obviously the fatigue appears and they all may face some problems because of some kind of monotonous job that they are doing every day. So, and hence he had conducted fatigue study to determine the amount of physical and both mental exhaustion and that is caused to the workers by the performance of the task assigned. So the idea is to provide the interval breaks and they may require some kind of breakups, breaks, interval hours where when necessary, so that the workers would not go tired. So they will not feel that much tired and if they have some kind of regular intervals in between. So that is a kind of another study that the method the first method uses. So we have discussed now about the time study, the motion study, fatigue study and method study under the method called work study. So under work study, we have got four other methods. So this is the first type or first technique of scientific management. And the second technique is scientific task planning. So here we are going to just discuss what is this scientific task planning refers to. It actually lays down the production targets and it also ensures their attainment. So here every task is scientifically planned and it lays down some targets. So say for example production targets. So and whether we can able to attain that target. So it ensures the quality of output. If we fix some targets every day, then we can able to ensure that we are attaining that target and we could also be able to concentrate on the quality of output and lower cost of production, specialization, optimum use of resources, sales maximization. So these are also the other objectives of scientific task planning. So with the help of scientific task planning, so the only benefit is not only getting the quality output, but also we can lower our cost of production. The specialization can also be attained by the workers and we can able to optimum use of resources and we can also able to attain sales maximization. So these are some of the other objectives of scientific task planning. And here the implementation of the production program will involve the following stages, because most of the techniques that are devised or that are introduced by F.W.Taylor will be applicable more for the shop floor employees and the production related activities. So here the scientific task planning. So this is better explained by taking the production program or the production department. And here the implementation of the production program. So this has some stages. So here the first stage is routing. So routing is, it is actually concerned with the sequence of the production operations. So this routing is the process in which one stage they will be doing one task and after that some other activities will be taken place in sequence. So this is actually, it is concerned with the sequence of production operations. And the second important stage is scheduling. So scheduling is, so for each and every work, they'll be prescribing some deadlines. So that is actually scheduling. So that is the second stage in the scientific task planning. And the third stage is dispatching. So dispatching is It is actually concerned with issuing orders to carry out the work. So after we fix certain activities required to complete a particular job, so say for example, routing is actually concerned with the sequence of production operations, and it involves various activities that are included to complete the process. So, and the scheduling is, it prescribes deadline for each and every work, and the dispatching is after we have finalized with both the routing and scheduling operations and scheduling procedures. This is the third stage where dispatching will take place, which is concerned with issuing orders to carry out the work. And the last stage is feedback. It helps to check whether the work has been done as planned, or do we have any kind of deviations in our work. So that is a kind of feedback which is at the last stage. So this is the process of scientific task planning, and as I already told you about what are the benefits that we can get out of this scientific task planning. And the next technique is scientific selection, placement, and training of workers. So here the Taylor, he wanted the right man to be appointed for the right job in every workplace. So he is very specific in selecting the particular employee like that fits into his position. So he wanted the right man to be appointed for the right job in every workplace. So the task of finding the right man, it should be entrusted only to the specialist. So the number of tests should be conducted to find out whether the candidate possesses the required qualities. So here Taylor, he had devised a certain scientific technique to decide upon what is the number of tests that should be conducted to find out whether the candidates possesses the required qualities. And Taylor also stressed the need to train the workers. So after selecting the particular right employee for the right job, Taylor, he also assessed or also stressed the need to train the workers in specific areas to secure good performance. And in the absence of such a training process or such training workers, the workers would only learn by trial and error. So that was actually the technique that was used previously before Taylor's contributions came as management principles. So before that, everything was by this trial and error method, and this would also result in loss or for the business. So here he had introduced several scientific selection process and placement process, and also training the workers. So everything he had done it scientifically. He had some scientific background in it. And the next one is standardization and simplification. So here under the scientific management, the product, the materials used for its manufacture, like the tools, the equipment used, the methods used, the quality that they can able to get, the time required to complete the task, and the working conditions. So everything can be standardized. So according to Taylor's views, so everything can be standardized, and we can able to get like the whatever the material that we are going to use, and whatever the tools and equipments that the workers can able to use, we can able to get the maximum output or a standard output by every worker involved in that process. So he tried to estimate scientifically everything, and this standardization, this ensures both promotion and so ensures uniformity, and it also promotes efficiency. So this is according to Taylor. So he can able to standardize everything, and simplification can also be done And this standardization, this will ensure uniformity, and it can obviously promote efficiency. And the last technique is about the mental revolution. So here, even during the days of Taylor, the problem faced by both the management and the workers was regarding the division of surplus. So that was actually a very great problem confronted by both the management and the workers. So here, Taylor, he contemplated, and he had introduced a technique called a mental revolution on the part of both the management and the workers on two basic issues. So the first issue is to work sincerely towards increasing the size of the surplus instead of quarreling about the sharing of the surplus. So he actually has given one specific point that the management and the employees should focus only on increasing the surplus, but not on quarreling over the sharing of the surplus. So if we can able to increase the surplus amount in a unified manner, then obviously the other positive things may happen. So that is his first thing. And the second thing is to adopt the scientific method of work in place of the rule of thumb. So that is the second thing. So everything can be standardized according to him. So here, obviously, this rule of thumb was the very old management technique, and that was totally replaced with his scientific method, and that is what he mean as mental revolution. So this mental revolution is also considered to be another successful technique that motivates both the organization, both the management and the workers to deliver their best. So these are some of the techniques of F.W. Taylor. Taylor also introduced differential piece wage system. So here Taylor, he wanted the remuneration payable to the workers to be linked to their output. He came out with the piece rate system called the differential piece rate system. So under this system, the two rates would be prescribed for the workers. So here the workers may be classified into two different types of workers. One is the efficient workers who is actually following the standard time to complete the particular task, and one who is not able to complete the task within the standard time. So here we have got two different types of workers. So here the rate will be fixed. The piece wage system is based on the efficiency of the workers, and for example, if the lower rate is rupees 1.50 per unit and the higher rate is rupees 2 per unit, and the standard output is 10 units. So if this is the data, then a worker producing 8 units will receive 12 as remuneration, 12 rupees as remuneration, and another producing 12 units will get 24 rupees as remuneration. And the next concept is functional foremanship. So this is another concept which was introduced by F.W. Taylor. So here, according to him, a foreman who belongs to the operational management and is the highest ranking worker. So he is actually the center around whom the entire production planning and the implementation and the control revolve. So here a foreman who belongs to operational management, he is actually considered to be the head of that department, and everything revolve around him. So entire production planning, the implementation, control process, everything revolves around him, and thus it becomes very essential to improve his performance. So that is according to his views. So one person who is having entire thing on his head, okay, one who has to like work for the implementation of the plan, and who has to design the production planning, everything, he needs some additional support. So here this functional foremanship is the extension of the principle of specialization. So in this technique, the Taylor, he suggested the separation of uh, planning and execution functions. So he actually has separated both planning and execution functions. So according to him, the foreman should be intelligence. He should be intelligent. He should be educated, and he should have some tactful strategies, tactful knowledge, and should possess some special knowledge which are required to handle all the situation, and he should have a very good energy, good health, like manual dexterity. So all these things are the highly required skills, are skills of the foreman. So one who is actually like the head of that particular department. So here he like according to him, the foreman should possess the entire skills that I have listed now. So since it is very difficult to find all these qualities in a single person, so he suggested that under factory management or under the factory manager, there should be a planning in charge and there should be a production in charge. So under planning in charge, he actually placed four personnel, namely instruction card clerk, route clerk, time and cost clerk, and then disciplinarian. So these are the four different categories that are placed under planning in charge. So this is one side. And on the other side, the production in charge, he may also have some personnel support, which will be called as speed boss, gang boss, repair boss, and inspectors. So these are the four categories that are placed under the production in charge. So here, in other words, we can say that in order to improve the quality of the supervision of the particular person at the supervisor level, so the Taylor had developed the concept of functional foremanship, and here in this technique, a worker is actually supervised by several specialists. So let us see who are these people and what are their roles. So here, as I already told you, the planning in charge has four different types of personnel working under the planning in charge. So here, the first category will be called as instruction card clerk. So here in this category, or the instruction card clerk's main function is to draft the instructions according to which the workers will be performing their jobs. So his main job is to draft the instruction, and he has to share it with the workers so that they may know about what they have to perform in their jobs. So that is the main role of instruction card clerk. And the next person under him or under production in charge, planning in charge, is route clerk. And this route clerk, he specifies the route of production. That is, what is the sequence of operations to perform, like various mechanical operations and various manual operations will be there in the organization. So here the route clerk's main job is to specify the route of production. That is, the sequence to perform the operation or various kinds of manual or the mechanical operations. And he also decides the job to be done for the day. What is the job that is for the whole day and where it is to be done. Okay, so that is the route clerk's role, and he is the person who can decide on where the job or what is the job that he has to do for the whole day and where it is to be done. This is the second role or the second person called the route clerk, and the third person is the time and cost clerk. So here in this the time and cost clerk, he fixes the time for starting and completing the work, and he prepares the cost sheet for each and every job. So for each and every job, what is the time that is taken by each and every worker? So his job is to just note down what is the time for starting and completing the work. And the next category is called as a disciplinarian. He is actually responsible for ensuring discipline in the workplace, and he is concerned with the coordination in each job, with from planning to the successful execution. He has to just like each and everything has to be noted by the disciplinarian, and he has to ensure that the discipline is followed in the workplace, and he enforces the rules and regulations, and he maintains the total discipline of the organization. So that is the disciplinarian's role, and these are some of the roles under planning in charge. And the next thing is the main function of production in charge is to get the work executed as per the plans. So they are the people who are responsible to execute the task. So here also we have got 4 positions. So one is speed boss. So here he is actually responsible for timely and accurate completion of job. He actually checks whether the job or work is progressing as per the schedule. So that is the function of speed boss. And the gang boss, so he is the second category under this production in charge. So here gang boss is responsible for keeping the machines and tools ready for the operation by workers. So he is the main person who has to ensure that everything is in proper place. The machines, the tools that the workers are going to use every day will be checked by the gang boss, and he is actually responsible for keeping the machines, tools, etc. Ready for the workers or operation by the workers, so that there will not be any delay. So that is gang boss. And the next category is called as repair boss. So here repair boss, he ensures proper working conditions of machines and tools that are used by the workers or the employees. So here the repair boss, he ensures everything is in proper condition. And the next category is called as the inspector. So here he ensures that the work is done as per the standards of quality of work, and he also set out by the planning department. So here the planning department will be setting some kind of standard time and standard output. Okay, they'll be just fixing all those things. And since this production in charge people are the people who are responsible for carrying out the task, the inspector, he has to ensure that the work is done as per the standards of quality of work and set out by the planning department. So here we have got several advantages and also some kind of disadvantages also. Let us see first what are all the merits of the F.W. Taylor's standard principles or the scientific management principles. So here we can able to say that it totally eliminates the hit or miss approach. So in those days, the people or the organizations, they used only the trial and error method, and they have not got any form of standard output, standard tools and techniques. So here after the contributions by Taylor to the management, to the organization, everything got changed and it totally eliminated the hit or miss approach. That is the first merit. And the second one is it prescribes standard time for each work. So each and every work, he has actually fixed some standard time, and this actually prevents some go slow tactics. So here, before contribution or before the involvement of Taylor, the attitude of the workers was purely go slow tactics or to go slow attitude. So the after the contributions or after the development of some management thoughts by F.W.Taylor, he actually prescribed the standard time to complete each and every task or each and every work, and this actually prevented this go slow tactics and this go slow attitude among the workers. And this is a very great achievement by F.W. Taylor. And the third one is it provides for standardization of tools, standardization of techniques, methods, working conditions. And this actually, since we can able to develop everything as a standard manner, we can able to promote efficiency. So that is the third merit. And the next one is it enables the efficient workers to earn more because he has introduced the differential piece rate system. So according to the output that he is actually able to give, so accordingly he will be paid for the as wages. So this also encourages them to do their best. So all these are some of the merits of the Taylor's contribution. And there are some other demerits also here. So we'll be seeing just some points for the demerits. So here there was a feeling among the workers that the scientific management forces them to work to their maximum capacity, and this will have a very adverse effect on their health. So this is very strong point that many of them have felt and many of them have noted, and so this has become a strong critic against the F.W. Taylor's contribution. And the next important critic or the demerit of the Taylor's contribution was, as everything is standardized in his thoughts, the workers do not have any scope for showing some initiativeness. So there will not be any kind of creativity which might be happening among the workers. So because they are already given, so this is the number of output that you have to achieve. So this is the standard thing. So you have to go with like achieving that standard thing. So and he has not given any scope for any creativity happening among the workers and things like that. So this is actually viewed as like the second critic against his contribution. And the next important demerit is the scheme of functional foremanship. It actually separates planning and the execution part, so and doing the job. So and this is totally criticized because it is not at all possible to just separate exactly the planning and the execution part, because everybody needs to handle any such situation, and it is highly impractical to separate exactly what is planning and what is the execution part. And this the scheme of functional foremanship was totally criticized. So these are some of the criticisms that raised after the contribution or after the developments of some scientific thoughts by F.W. Taylor. And this scientific management of Taylor has been appreciated by many management thinkers of his time, and it has also got him a very unique place among the pioneers of the management, and hence he was called as the father of scientific management.